Yeah, I mean, I have this list of all the moves from every team in the offseason, and the Broncos list is like the longest.
Yeah.
Okay. They bring in center guard Ben Powers, they get in Mike McGlinchey, Jared Stidham from the Raiders, Chris Manners from the Jaguars, Zach Allen from the Cardinals, Samaje Perine from the Bengals, Michael Burton from the Chiefs, Tremont Smith from the Texans, and a punter, Riley Dixon from the Rams. They lose a bunch of players. It's pretty clear that Sean Payton has an identity that he wants to put in place here, right? I mean, that's fairly obvious. But I love the moves of Powers and McGlinchey to shore up that offensive line. But as Tony knows, and I'm sure Kyle, you know as well, when you talk about the sacks with Russell Wilson, this goes back to his days in Seattle as much as it goes back to his days in Denver. The way he plays produces sacks, okay? And when you're Mr. Invincible or Incredible, whatever his name was, I don't know, and you get away with doing all these really big splashy plays, you can put up with that, right? But when you stink, like he stunk in Denver, you can't put up with that. So it's great that they're getting McGlinchey and Powers to help protect him. But at some point, Sean Payton has to have a conversation with Russell Wilson and say, you're killing the team by some of the things you're doing here. And what I find interesting about this is there are multiple reports, and have been multiple reports out there, that two of their top receivers are available for the right price. Now, see, this is where we get into this weird time of the year. I call it lying season in the NFL. All right, because you don't know what anyone's really saying, because it's all counter espionage and subterfuge. Like he could say, Sean Payton or anybody in the front office of the Broncos, hey, we're not shopping the wide receivers. We just, people were calling about them. Okay, but you put that out there for a reason. All that stuff comes out there for a reason, and you try and figure out what that reasoning is. Why would both Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton potentially be available? Well, that tells you that somewhere in that Broncos organization, they think they need a shakeup at the wide receiver position. They're going to get Tim Patrick back from the ACL. They still have a KJ Hamler there. So somebody somewhere in that organization isn't comfortable with the wide receiver core that they have. And you have to ask yourself, why would that be? Is it just Sean Payton coming in there wanting his guys and setting the tone a little bit? Or is there something deeper in that wide receiver room that we don't know about? Because those are two very productive wide receivers who had obviously not very productive years because of the quarterback issues.